I can't hear you.
Stop.
No, I've got to be somewhere, my friend.
Yeah, I know, but do you see where we're coming from? Because you've seen us, you've turned around and you've walked away.
No, I've gone the wrong way.
You've gone the wrong way? Right, okay, where have you got to go?
That's none of your business, my friend.
I'm just talking to you, mate. Just talking to you.
The order keeping his call explains that he had just gone the wrong way, a simple logical explanation, but instead of accepting this, the officer continues to pry, asking, "Where have you got to go?" This crosses into pure nosiness, as the auditor is under no obligation to explain where he's going. There is no law requiring someone to stop and answer personal questions just because an officer assumes the worst. This is where policing turns into harassment, where officers use their authority not to investigate real crime, but to interrogate people over perfectly legal behavior. What's your name, man? Ain't sorry.
What's your name?
I can't hear you.
What's your name?
Why?
I'm just wondering.
I can't tell you.
Right, no worries, mate. Have a nice day.
All right.
Have a nice day. Pardon?
I just say I gone the wrong way, you know.
Right, okay. Right, do you
Are
understand why?
you looking for somewhere what we can help you with?
No, thank you. No.
Do you see though why we've come round here? It's just because obviously when you've gone round the corner, you've seen us, and it's like you've walked in the hole.
No, basically what it is, I went down that street and I realised I'm in the wrong road.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
What road is it you're looking for?
I can't tell you.
Why?
It's private.
Right. Listen, mate. So because of obviously your demeanour and the way that you've turned around the corner, it's almost like you're trying to avoid us.
No, definitely not. I'm not running.
I know. But from me, it looks like you're trying to avoid us. All right.
Really?
It did do, yeah.
No, definitely not.
So look, that's my grounds. So under Section 23 of the Misuse of Drugs Act, I'm going to detain you.
The officer continues pressing the auditor with more questions, but each one is rightfully rejected, realizing he's getting nowhere. The officer suddenly backs off, saying, "No worries, have a nice day." But here's where the irony kicks in. Just seconds later, that same officer decides to detain the auditor under Section 23 of the Misuse of Drugs Act. What changed in those few moments? Absolutely nothing. There was no new evidence, no new suspension. Just the officer deciding that walking in the wrong direction and changing course is somehow justification for a stop and search. The auditor clearly explains, "I went down the street and realized I've gone down the wrong road." A completely reasonable explanation. But the officer isn't interested in reason. He accuses the auditor of trying to avoid us and uses that as his grounds for detention. This is a clear abuse of stop and search powers. Avoidance alone does not equal suspicion, and the police cannot simply invent justification after the fact to detain someone when there is no actual evidence of a crime.
High drug use area. Obviously, you've seen us. You look like you're actively trying to avoid us. And obviously...
Sorry, I misheard that. You're going to what? Sorry?
Alright. So my name's PC Cliff.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm based at Blackpool Police Station.
Yeah.
So my grounds for this search under Section...
Oh, you're going to search me?
Yeah, under Section
Really?
23. Yeah.
Really?
Just hear me out.
I'm going to explain to you
Just
why.
hear me out, because I'm going to explain to you. Alright.
Yeah.
So my grounds are, when we walked round that corner...
Yeah.
You've seen us, and then you've turned around and you've walked back in the whole complete opposite direction.
Okay,
which
yes.
is a bit suspicious.
Yes.
It's a high drug use area.
Under Section 23 of the Misuse of Drugs Act, 1971, officers can stop and search an individual only if they have reasonable grounds to suspect that the person is in possession of controlled drugs. However, suspicion must be based on specific objective facts related to the individual's behavior or circumstances, not just the general reputation of an area. In this case, the auditor stopped, when approached, spoke to the officer properly, and did nothing to indicate drug possession or criminal intent. If the officer truly believed there were reasonable grounds, the auditor's calm and cooperative response should have immediately reduced suspicion, not reinforced it. Instead, the officer clings to a vague excuse, claiming the area's reputation justifies the search rather than basing the decision on any actual evidence of wrongdoing. This misuse of stop and search powers turns lawful citizens into suspects simply for being in the wrong place rather than because of any real indicators of crime.
Basically, you're pulling me up you're searching me for misuse of drugs.
So Section 23 Misuse of Drugs Act search. Yeah.
Yes.
So the reason why, as I've said, is obviously because I've already told you this 3 times now.
Yes.
You've seen us. You've turned around. You've gone the whole opposite way. I've tried to interact with you, and you've carried on walking.
I couldn't hear you. I said I can't hear you.
I know. But when we've come closest, when my colleagues asked you, you said you've turned around the wrong street. We've asked you what street it is, and you said you can't remember. So obviously that gives me grounds to believe that you might be carrying controlled substances on.
So basically a UU. You're pulling me up for you're searching me for misuse of drugs, SE. 23 misuse of drugs at Surge, yes. So the reason why, as I said, is obviously because I've already told you this 3 times now. You've seen us, you've turned around. You've gone the whole opposite way. I tried to interact with you, and you've carried on walking. I could hear you. I said I can't hear you, I know. But when we've come closest, when my colleagues asked you said you've turned around the wrong street. We've asked you what street is, and you said you can't remember. So obviously that gives me grounds to believe that you might be carrying controlled substances on you. Now desperate to justify the search, the officer adds yet another week reason, claiming that because the auditor couldn't remember the name of the street, that somehow adds to their grounds for suspicion. But let's break this down logically. How does forgetting a street name equate to being involved in drug activity? People forget street names all the time, especially if they are unfamiliar with an area, distracted, or simply not paying attention to exact locations. If this was a legitimate reason for detention, then any tourist, delivery driver, or even local resident who momentarily forgets a street name could be stopped and searched. This reasoning is a clear example of confirmation bias, where officers look for any excuse to justify a decision they've already made rather than basing their actions on real objective.
Drugs, though? You're going around the drugs route?
Yeah, I am, because it's a high drug use area. Okay.
So you just because I've gone down the wrong street, you're saying that I might be carrying drugs?
No, not just that. It's the whole demeanour. All right.
What?
So
I look chill, right?
That gives me grounds to search you. You just put your phone down, take your hands out your pocket, mate. You're not in any trouble, all right?
No, so, but I don't, because so basically the grounds are just because I turn down the street, turn around, you're searching me for drugs.
And your demeanour with
What's
us.
the demeanour, though?
It's like you don't want to speak to us.
I don't have to, all right?
No, you don't have to at all. But you're actively trying to avoid us. You've seen.
No, I didn't actually, because I told you why I turn around. I've gone down the wrong street, right?
I know, but then when
it's a dead end, right? Is that a dead end?
Listen,
Another weak attempt to justify the search. The officer claims that the auditor's demeanor gives him grounds to detain him, but when pressed on what exactly is wrong with his demeanor, the officer's response is telling. It's like you don't want to speak to us. This is where the officer completely contradicts himself. The auditor immediately fires back, I don't have to write, and the officer agrees. So if the officer acknowledges that the auditor isn't legally required to speak to them, how can refusing to engage suddenly become reasonable grounds for a search? The officer then doubles down, claiming the auditor was actively trying to avoid them, but the auditor shuts this down, immediately pointing out the obvious. He had simply walked down a dead-end street and turned around. Instead of responding like a professional, the officer suddenly turns childish, shaking his head left and right in an exaggerated no gesture, mocking the auditor as if he were a schoolyard bully instead of a trained officer. This moment perfectly exposes the petty and unprofessional attitude some officers take when they know they've lost an argument.
Back to basics. What's your call number?
5379.
And where are you based?
I've done Go Wiser with
Where are you based?
So my name is PC 5379 Cliff. I'm based at Blackpool Police Station.
Yes.
All right. I've given my grounds to search 3 times now.
And you said just because I went down the street and turned around when I seen you, that's grounds for a drug search.
Not just that. We're going in circles now.
We're not going in circles. I want to establish these grounds.
Well, I'm going to search.
Well, you can search.
Have you got anything on your
nothing, honestly. Nothing. I can tell you, I've no sharps, no nothing.
It's fine. Right,
yeah.
Don't worry.
Can you give me a copy of the search today?
By all means, I think I've got a printer in my car. So yeah. Well, you can go to the station. It'll be ready for you.
I don't do drugs, my friend.
I know, that's fine, mate.
These grounds seem funny just for turning down a street and then realising...
Just because it's quite a high-profile area here for drug using and...
I don't take drugs, though.
This back and forth exposes the flawed logic behind the officer's reasoning. Being in a high drug use area does not automatically make someone a suspect. However, in some situations, police might have legitimate reasons to stop and search someone if their behavior objectively indicates possible criminal activity. For example, the individual is seen exchanging small packages or money in a way consistent with drug deals. A person is seen frequenting known drug dealing spots, interacting with known offenders, or acting evasively in a way that is not just changing direct. In those cases, police might have grounds for a lawful stop and search under Section 23 of the Misuse of Drugs Act 1971, but in this situation, none of those factors apply.
And over, just because the area is that way.
No, I know, but because it's a high crime drug area and they do quite a lot of drug dealing in this area.
Yeah.
We've seen you, you've seen us, you've actively turned away from us. We've tried to stop you 3 times and you carried on walking in.
No, I said I can't hear you.
Which is fair enough, but we shouted you several times. If you've not got anything on you, that's absolutely fine. But
Well, so you're not in any trouble.
No, but this search is going against my. Like, you just touched my buttock, right?
I'm searching you.
Yeah, but I don't want you to touch my buttock.
Right, have you got anything in your back pockets?
Nothing whatsoever. I'd have emptied my pockets for you.
That's fine. Right, that search is negative.
Yeah.
Right, so you know.
After all the questioning, the justifications, and the weak attempts to manufacture suspicion, the search is finally completed, and as expected, nothing is found. This moment speaks volumes despite the officer insisting that the auditor's behavior was suspicious despite the claims that this was a high drug use area, and despite trying to justify the stop with flimsy, ever-changing reasons. The result is exactly what the auditor said from the start. This is exactly why stop and search laws are so heavily criticized. The officers had no real evidence, no real intelligence, and no real reason to suspect the auditor was committing an offense.
Search, my friend. Yeah.
Not a problem.
Because I don't think the grounds was right then what you just did.
That's fair enough. That's fair. I've told you my grounds. From where it looked, obviously you met eye contact with us twice, and each time you've walked in an opposite direction.
But I don't trust police, my friend. And you've given me a reason why I can't. Because basically, what that tells me is I can't change direction in the street without being detained and searched. You could have stopped me and said, "Hey, it looks like you're evading my thingy." I stopped when you come and I so therefore, where's the drugs coming to that?
The auditor then raises another crucial point. He stopped when the officers approached him. If someone were genuinely involved in criminal activity, wouldn't they run or try to hide something instead of calmly stopping and speaking to the officers? At what point did drugs ever factor into this? The truth is they didn't. The officer invented suspicion based on assumption, not evidence. This is why the auditor demands documentation. Without a stop and search form, there's no official record of what happened, no accountability, and no way to challenge the search. But by getting the paperwork, the auditor ensures that this baseless stop won't just be brushed under the rug.
Are you recording me, my friend?
Pardon?
Are you recording me?
Yeah.
How long has it been running?
It's been running when I first came into contact with you.
Really?
Yeah.
So, obviously, everybody can record in a public space, right? You know that? Yeah. There's no...
I don't have an issue with you recording.
No, but you can record me too, right?
Yeah, that's
But
fine.
unfortunately, in your policy, you have to declare it at the earliest opportunity.
There's no drugs in that, my friend, right? Okay. Well, you clearly don't agree with me. That's fine. Well, you have no evidence. Are you recording me, my friend? Are you recording me? Yeah. How long has it been running? Been running when our first came to contact, really? Yeah. So obviously everybody can record in a public space, right? You know that, yeah, there's no issue, no, but you can record me too, right? But unfortunately in your policy you have to declare it at the earliest opportunity. Really, the officer had been filming the entire time, including before and during the search, without informing the auditor. This is not just a minor procedural error, it's a direct violation of police guidelines. On body-worn video, under the College of Policing's body-worn video guidance, officers must inform individuals at the earliest opportunity that they are being recorded. They are required to clearly state that the recording is taking place unless doing so with compromised safety or an investigation. This rule is in place to ensure transparency, as BWV is meant to protect both the public and the officers by providing an accurate and accountable record of interactions. By failing to declare that he was recording, the officer denied the auditor the opportunity to challenge or acknowledge that he was on camera. This is especially concerning because it means the auditor was unaware that every word and action was being filmed, which could have impacted how he engaged with the officers. At this point, the officer has already failed to justify the search properly, and now he's been caught ignoring basic accountability measures.
Kind of where you were going, you weren't really. But it is on.
No, but we have walked. We've walked.
I apologise. I haven't let you know sooner.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Cliff, I have to put this to my solicitor because I don't see the grounds like you do, and therefore I might have to make a civil claim against us. You know, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. It's just this time I can't get back. You know.
No, don't worry.
Yeah.
The auditor has a strong case for a civil claim, as the officers fail to meet the legal standard required under Section 23 of the Misuse of Drugs Act 1971 and pays for a stop and search to be lawful. Officers must have reasonable evidence-based suspicion that an individual is in possession of drugs, not just vague assumptions based on location, forgetting a street name, or walking in a certain direction. This search was conducted without clear justification, and the officer shifting explanations only highlight the lack of legitimate ground. Beyond the unlawful detention, there were additional failures in procedure. The officer did not declare his body-worn camera at the earliest opportunity, and the auditor was given inconsistent reasoning for why he was being searched. These violations of protocol could strengthen the civil claim, as similar cases have resulted in compensation payouts ranging from £22,000 to £10,000. Too many people are treated as suspects for no reason and without video evidence. It becomes their word against the police. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me continue with my independent coverage. Also, don't forget to check out Reggie Photo. His channel is linked in the description. Show him some love. Thanks for watching. This was Rate the Audits, and I'll see you in the next one.